Dear students of 10th class, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Today we will try to understand the play from page number 160 to 161. Chuboko interrupts and corrects him by mentioning that the only reason that the peasants got to use oxen meadows for free was because it was a disputed land. But now it is very clear to everybody that the Chubokos own it. He even blames him of not seeing the plan. Chiboko believes Lomo can't prove something to be his when it is not. Lomo insists that he would prove them to be his. Chiboko also points out that there is no need to yell. Yelling wouldn't prove anything. He repeats the same words as Natalia and says that he doesn't intend on claiming something that is not his and also does not want to give away what is his. He says it out of anger that if Lomo keeps on arguing about the land, he would rather give it to his peasants for free than to him. Lomo gets offended and asks him how he can give away somebody else's property. Chuboko gets irritated by the tone in which Lomo chose to speak to him. He mentions that he is twice his age and deserves to be spoken with respect, politeness, and all that. Lomo insists that his impolite tone is a reaction to what Chuboko has been doing, that is, claiming Lomo's land. He calls Chuboko a bad neighbor and a grabber. Feeling highly disrespected, Stephen asks Lomo to repeat his words. Natalia interferes and asks her father to send the mowers to Oxen Meadows at once. Still unable to accept what he just heard about himself, he asks Lomo to repeat his words. Natalia claims to possess Oxen Meadows and refuses to let them go just because someone else is claiming it to be theirs. Lomo threatens to take the matter to court and prove it to them that he is the real owner. Chuboko accuses Lomo that he is just looking for a chance to go to court just like all of the people in his family. He insists that he go on with the proceedings. Lomo refuses to listen anything fearly, against his family and mentions that they are all respectable personalities, unlike Chiboko's grandfather, who had been tried for embezzlement. Chiboko mentions that insanity and irrationality runs in the Lomos. Natalia repeats after her father. Choboko calls Lomo's grandfather an alcohol addict, breaks the news that Lomo's younger aunt ran away with an architect. Lomo mentions that Choboko's mother was humpbacked. While he was saying this, he felt a pull on his side and head. Thus he calls for help and water. As the blame game is on, Choboko calls Lomo's father a greedy gambler. Natalia calls Lomo's aunt a backbiter and that no one could match her level. Lomo complains that his foot is numb, calls Choboko a plotter, says that he has pain in his heart. He adds that in the last elections, Choboko was. He does not complete the sentence as he feels dizzy. He calls for his hat. Natalia calls his act low, dishonest, and mean. Choboko further calls him names. Lomo finally finds his hat and starts asking for direction towards the door with his heart pounding and foot numb. He feels that he is dying. Choboko screams in anger and tells Lomo not to step foot in his house again. And Natalia tells him to take the matter to court in order to show that they are not afraid. Choboko calls for the devils to take the Lomo along. Natalia comments that Lomo is a devil and is unreliable. Choboko further calls him names. Natalia is surprised at how Lomo first claimed their land to be his own and then possessed the audacity to abuse them. In the process of cursing him and calling him names, Choboko reveals the real reason behind Lomo's visit that had been overshadowed by the argument related to Oxen Meadows. He couldn't believe his audacity to come with a proposal for her daughter. Unaware about the subject matter, Natalia asks her dad, which proposal is he talking about? Choboko clarifies that Lomo came here to ask for Natalia's hand in marriage. Surprised at hearing this, Natalia tells her father that he should have told this to her earlier. He further calls Lomo names and expresses displeasure on seeing his audacity to come there in the evening dress. Natalia is stunned at the news. She falls into the chair and instantly demands to call him back. Choboko is not very sure who she is referring to. She tells her father to call him back at the very moment. Choboko couldn't register Natalia's change of behavior towards Lomo, and thus he calls himself an unhappy man. He intends on shooting himself or hanging himself. Natalia says that she is about to die. Lomo be summoned. Choboko asks his daughter to calm down and stop yelling. He runs away to call Lomo. Thanks.